Out here at the Sampson County farm, we picked up this lease this year. Didn't intend on it. And not a bird flying. Yeah, there you go, Teal. Thank you, honey. So I was walking the back side of this cornfield. Front side's cut. Got 2 acres on the back side. We had the farmer leave standing for late season dove. But what I noticed when I came down the back side, you can smell them. Deer, that is. Any hunter who's ever killed a rutting animal knows that smell. It's kind of something that just kind of burns in you. You never forget it. It's a unique, almost like a rotten acorn mixed with piss type smell. But there's definitely one around here. Just looking into the cutover. I just thought that was interesting because there it is again. It's always wind blowing. That means he's got to be in this damn corn. Alright, guys. That's another, they call it a licking limb over a scrape, but it is tore all to hell. I got a irrigation ditch, probably drops down like 10-12 feet. Looks like they're coming out of here, and I have a scrape here and 2 more farther down there. Leaving this field, we're going to get back in the truck and head over near Hog House number 1 or 2. Maybe do a little walk through the cutover. Over here by Hog House number 2. I don't know, maybe 400 yards that way is where I saw the scrapes, and once I figured out that deer was in the corn and all the scrapes in there, I figured my next course of action was to find a new place to play today. This cutover's three years old now. At the other end of this little, well, what used to be a shooting lane, there's a box blind. As you can see here, just on the side of this little path, they bed all in the cutover. Haven't done a whole lot of walking out here this year, so a lot of this property just doesn't even get hunted. It's hard to access. I mean, you could access it, but you're gonna push some stuff out of the woods as you get to it. And I think as hunters, we forget that we don't always look at the consequences of our actions. I remember sitting in a stand last year. I just bought a a new rifle, and I was really excited. Couldn't wait to take a deer with it. A good friend of mine called me up, said, "Hey bud, you want to go hunt a stand?" I said, "Well, yeah, come on. Where you want me?" So he put me in a stand bordering a really thick pine thicket. And I had a cow horn came out, watched him right underneath me. Never noticed I was there. And then about 30 minutes after the cow horn kind of moved on, started hearing hard horns hitting dead pine limbs on the cutover. Had an 8-point, probably 12 yards away from me, to my right in the cutover. Not the cutover, but in the pine thicket. Could have shot. But that deer, he showed me something that day that I will never forget. The path that I walked in on, I never thought a deer would step foot there, but that deer did. The deer never smelled me in the stand. Wind was great for where he was at. But our footsteps kind of crossed paths. And this deer didn't blow. Didn't hang around to figure out what was going on. But he smelled me. He knew I was there as far as where I walked. And it made me wonder how many blocks of woods I've blown up by just merely walking through the woods. A young dumb deer, they're a dime a dozen. But when you get deer like that can teach you something, you don't forget them. Sampson County thick, boy. And I know I shouldn't be tromping around in the woods, hoping to find some scrapes or rubs. I found quite a few scrapes on the back side of the cornfield. So I think that might be a good spot to go opening day. I got out of there pretty quick because I don't want to bump that deer out of there because he's rutting. There's not a question in my mind. They say when it's bunched up like that, the deer just got up and was bedded down for a while because it was all compacted, but I don't know how much truth there is to that shit. I'm not a deer crap connoisseur. Coming up on the interstate right now. I'm probably about 100 yards off of it. The old North Carolina ankle breaker. Rotten stump hole. Bring a grown man to his knees, I'll tell you what. In the direction I'm heading, this should come out along a power line. Some of the larger deer on the property have been taken off of the power line. But I like the woods.